I'm Will Carey, your host. Thanks for tuning in. Really exciting news if you haven't already found out this because of the way you are currently listening to this podcast. Between Awesome and Disaster is now officially on iTunes, so it is a lot easier to get and listen to my show. So you can go to iTunes and search Between Awesome and Disaster with Will Carey, and if you could subscribe, download, rate, comment, it'd be tremendously helpful for me, and I would be eternally grateful. And I hope you're having a good week wherever you are. I want to do a quick plug real fast because this is a couple weeks down the road, but it's going to be a really fun time, and I want to make sure that I get as many people out for it as possible. On February 25th at 8 p.m., that is going to be the next installment of my show, You Can Use That, at the Creek in the Cave. Again, that's February 25th at 8 p.m. It's going to be my next installment of my monthly show that I produce at the Creek. It's a free show, and this month is going to be really fun because it is a couples edition, and I'm going to have several comedians who are dating each other, as well as comedians with who their girlfriends or spouses in attendance. And I'm going to have their significant other suggest a joke topic for that person to incorporate into their set. And the hilarious thing is I'm going to co-host it with my girlfriend, who's only done stand-up once. If you listen to my conversation with Tyler Richardson, we discussed her one open mic experience a bit, which was not the fairest, to be honest, because you can never really tell if you're good depending on your experience at that open mic. So this is going to be quite an adventure. So again, that's February 25th at the Creek in the Cave in Long Island City. I'm really excited for today's episode because my guest is comedian Sinead Hennessy. Sinead's like one of my closest friends who I haven't seen her in a really long time, and it's funny because I know a lot of people, but I don't know a lot of people super well. And I hadn't heard from Sinead for, I'd say maybe like 7 or 8 months. And when I had heard from her again, it was online, and I found out that she's actually currently the leading goal scorer for the women's New York Shamrocks SC soccer club here in Queens, New York. So I'm really excited to talk to her about playing soccer and what her experience with soccer has been in her life, as well as just kind of our shared moments in comedy. So this is going to be, I'm excited for this one, folks, because soccer is kind of a relatively new obsession for me, and I talk about it a lot, and I'm trying to curb it back a little bit. But I played when I was a kid, and I didn't have the most fun on my teams, probably because I don't think I was ever really good friends with anyone that was on my teams. And I kind of fell out of it because I didn't enjoy running. I didn't enjoy not being that great at offense. So I kind of fell away from it for a while. But what got me back into it was I guess it would be in 2014, the summer of 2014, my then roommate, a very funny guy named Corey Nachman, who I used to play in a band with when he was here before he moved back to New Hampshire, we started watching the World Cup. And it kind of captured my imagination again, and it became the thing that's sort of my thing that I can do to turn my brain off, because I am not at this point. I'm 29 years old. I'm not going to try to start being a professional athlete. So I literally have no stakes when I watch a soccer match, and it takes me back to my childhood, and I find it very relaxing for the course of the game. So I'm really excited to talk to Sinead because I know she also at least enjoys the local New York team, New York City Football Club. So I'm excited to talk to her about that and to learn more about her life and who she is. So she's on her way now. So she's going to be here shortly, and we're going to talk to my friend Sinead, and then we'll check back in after this conversation. All right.
Have they paid you to say all these things?
No, this is just how I feel, Sinead.
Shh, it's a secret. Don't spread this.
Yeah, don't let anyone know. So I haven't seen you in a long time, Sinead. I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, thanks, Will. When did we last ran into each other? Well, you were practicing pinball. No, pinball?
Yes, at yeah, I was on my pinball team. We were preparing for a match. I think it was a little bit before Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny because I hadn't seen you for probably like I think 7 or 8 months or something like that, and then when I heard from you again, you're a star athlete.
Oh yeah, that's what I do in my spare time.
Yeah.
When I'm not doing comedy, it fuels my athleticism.
Mm-hmm. That.
My hope and potential in life is sparked.
Fantastic, because and correct me if I'm wrong. You're currently the leading scorer for your team.
For right now, which is the first half of the season wrapped up in December, and now we begin in March, and I have to hold on to the title.
On to the title, and this is, and I'll just say you play for the New York Shamrocks. SC. And so you start again in March, so it's like a split season.
Yeah.
How does the standings work? Is it done by points like other like Premier League or Bundesliga?
Yeah, that's it. There are points. Well, because we play for the women's team plays in the Cosmopolitan League.
Which I think is really cool because that's on the American soccer pyramid.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like the 4th tier under the USL, but it's on the pyramid, which I think is amazing that I know someone who's on the American soccer pyramid.
Holy shit! Well, now that I'm thinking, what if we don't play for them? Because that sounds really. I don't know if we play in that league. Now that it sounds so official.
My scarf says you do.
Does it?
Yes.
All right, trust the scarf.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed with us.
No, I thought that because I didn't know that you liked soccer until I was going to my first New York City Football Club game that you happened to be at also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played soccer since I was 3, 3, 4. All of my brothers and I, and my dad, we'd always play down at the park, and it's just the best sport in the world.
I agree. I enjoy it more than I enjoy, and granted, it's not always the highest scoring game, but I just find watching a game be played thoroughly enjoyable compared to other sports that I've played also. So soccer was in your family from when you were super young.
Yeah, because my dad's Irish, and everyone in Ireland plays soccer, or he's from a hurling town, but...
What's hurling?
Hurling is like... It looks like the hurley looks like a hockey stick, but it's denser, and the club of the hockey stick, or the hurley, is like yay big, half the size of your head, and it's one of the fastest. I don't. It's like, what's that Harry Potter game?
Quidditch.
Quidditch. It's like that, but not. I don't know how to explain it. You should Google it. Everyone should Google it. But it's not a well-known sport in the U.S., and so my dad stuck with teaching us soccer.
Fantastic. And So your dad's Irish. How many brothers do you have?
I have 6 brothers.
You have 6 brothers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And any sisters?
No sisters.
Oh, so
I had a twin in utero. I had a twin buddy, and I ate her.
Oh, Sinead.
I know. Nobody fucking competes with me.
So competitive early on.
Yeah, it's in my blood. So is her blood. Her blood's in my blood. We are one, and so we fuel one another.
So six brothers. So it's just you and your mom in just a sea of male Irish testosterone.
Yeah. XY all over the place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're playing soccer from the time you were 3. And what position do you play?
I currently play forward.
Super.
A striker, yeah.
That I always envied the strikers because I just can't run for that long. It's like 6 miles of running in a game, right?
It could be. I know it's a lot of running, but I feel like I'd love to be a center mid. I'd love to have the stamina for a center mid. I feel like I stand a lot at forward.
Oh, really?
Cherry picking.
Oh, I see. And just making sure you're far forward enough so that you're not offsides.
Yeah, exactly. And then I get a cross in and I'll finish. And
yeah, I've seen some of your work. I saw a video of your hat trick.
oh yeah, but did you see how slow I was running? I look like I'm running in slow. I have a bad hamstring. I'm gonna excuse my slowness with that. But I need to run more. The second half of the season, I'm gonna run more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm gonna be
good.
a center mid up top by just running back and forth.
Excellent. So yeah, just covering all of that middle ground.
Yeah. Well, they're like
Goodness.
I'm just gonna run sprints on the field and wait until they kick the ball
during
up.
the game until
Yeah.
the ball gets in. That's it.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, that seems to be like certain, like the American way at least of doing is high work rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
More physicality. Because Americans can't just handle the tiki taka, where it's just a lot of beautiful passing. We need like pushing and stuff like that in America, right?
I think I play with a bunch of guys on Saturday, and all we do is it's short games, short pass, and the majority of them are Caribbean, and I've learned how to be a better player from them because
Really?
It's so quick, and you have to outthink and outmaneuver your player. Otherwise, you're left in the dust, and that's not something I ever learned during my training. So I give full credit to them. Artillery.
Fantastic. I love talking about this stuff. I haven't talked about because my soccer glory days are like 20 years ago, and I still remember probably the crowning moment of all my sporting achievements was on a soccer field.
Really?
Yeah. I was usually a fullback that would I'd also play goalkeeper, also, which I enjoyed. And the best save I ever made, this guy from like maybe 10 feet away just kicked the ball as hard as he could, and it came like directly at me, and I caught it with my chest, and it made that sickening like thud sound. And it was such a good stop that like both sides of parents were just clapping.
Oh,
and
nice.
then I had a really good kick up the field to one of our team, and then we were able to score off of that.
Holy hell, that's a fantastic return.
I love that, because that's why when I go to New York City FC games, Josh Saunders is their goalie, and every time he does those big punt returns, because he had a workout. I can't remember if this is correct, but he had the highest save rate. Like he made the most saves in MLS last year.
Oh, wow.
And just when he has that big kick up the field, I was like, yeah, that was me that one time.
You guys are soulmates there. You guys, have you met him?
I haven't met him. I haven't met anyone on the team yet, but I'd like to.
Do you know anyone? Like, you need connection. Someone who's in the.
I could probably from the the Cooligans, the soccer Cooligans. They have that's comedians Alexis Guerreros and Christian Polanco. I've had them on.
Yeah.
I gotta see if I can get more in with them.
Do they know? Are they listening now?
They could. I'm putting their episode will be coming out shortly.
Put the feelers out.
Absolutely. So okay, cool. So all right. So, and if you don't mind me asking, because I want to learn a bit more about you, because like we know each other, but I feel like I don't know everything about you.
You want inside my mind brain?
Yes, right in
my brain
right in
hole.
The mind brain. So you grew up as in athletics. Where did you grow up exactly?
I grew up north of Seattle. It's maybe 45 minutes north of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
In a small town called Snohomish. Snohomish, yeah.
So like small, like logging town?
It was a log. Actually, yeah, it had there was a lumber company down there. I think it's closed now.
Mm-hmm.
It was small. I think around 10,000 when I was growing up.
Okay.
Small little conservative town.
Gotcha.
Right.
So sort of like the conservative enclave outside of the hip downtown metropolitan area of Seattle.
God, I think whenever I went to Seattle to play soccer primarily, it was like moving to New York from me present day, where it was like, oh my God, people live in this city. This is so cool. That's my experience with Seattle as a child.
Mm-hmm. So you were going to Seattle from an early age and thinking, oh, I want more of this and less of where I currently live.
Well, and actually, when I was 12, 13, I was enrolled in a Sounders development program. And
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, my brother and I were a part of it, and we would take the bus out to Seattle from Snohomish, and I got to stay on my brother's couch the night before and kind of experience what it was like to be in Seattle and be on the public transportation system. It was uncomfortable being a 12-year-old girl.
I imagine so.
In a very large city, comparatively speaking, and being around men, it was really weird.
Oh yeah. From age 12. How did that program play out?
I think I only participated in that 1 year. We just practiced with one of the coaches from Chance Fry. I know his name, Chance Fry. I don't remember. This is before the Sounders became what they are now.
Like Clint Dempsey and Fire Martins, all of those guys.
Yeah. But we practiced along with them. We got coaching. I definitely wasted it. I wasted what I learned there. It was too bad.
And like, and while you were doing this, what sort of house was your house? Like, what did your dad do?
My dad was a butcher. And at that point, my mom worked, she was a corrections officer.
Ooh.
Would she have been at the prison or the jail? She worked at the prison as a corrections officer and then moved to the county jail.
Oh, so I wonder if jail is like, jail compared to prison. I imagine it's all terrible, but I wonder if jail is less intense than prison.
Yes, I went to prison with my mom. Actually, it was for my 13th birthday. She took me to the gun range. And we went shooting, and then we went to the prison because she wanted to show her daughter off. And it was so weird.
In prison.
It was such a bizarre thing. She's like, Sinead, so just dress nicely. I'm like, as though I'm going to meet someone here? I hope so. Older men. Ooh.
Yeah, with a bit of a dangerous streak.
I know, exactly. Ooh,
exciting.
Live on the edge. I might die.
It's more exciting that way.
It is.
Just that constant fear.
Yeah. Although Mammy, I call her Mammy because I'm Irish, and actually no one my age calls their mom Mammy, which is really a bummer except me. No one in the U.S. calls their mom Mammy. Only,
That's a old country thing.
yeah, yeah. And so my dad called his mom Mammy, and so Mammy would. She brought us into the jail, and we got a tour, and several times she would talk about how she'd always talk about how her children didn't respect her the way that inmates respected her. I'm like, that's...
Because she's got her jail face on. I imagine you have to put on like a jail face.
Yeah.
Compared to, you can't just be, all right, guys, we're going to go be released for chow now.
Well, or it was that they could, if they didn't listen to her, she could put them in the hole.
Oh, yeah, the hole.
And, they're already in prison, and her children, we were in a prison of our own. She created a prison for us, but we were harder to handle than criminals.
Than criminals.
Not to brag, but we were some tough children.
So I'm imagining if your mom is a prison guard that she's probably like a really tough woman. Yes, is that accurate?
Yes, but she actually, before she went and became a corrections officer, she was a marriage and family therapist.
Oh, wow.
And so successful in that. And that she got married and divorced my dad a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
And
like, how old were you when that was happening?
the first time was when I was 4, I think. It was in 89. I was 3. And then they got remarried, had another child. That's my youngest brother. And then got divorced again in 92.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you remember it affecting you really badly at the time? Just because my parents divorced when I was like 16, and hate and anger at my dad sort of defined me for like 10 years.
Okay, so 10 years from the time you were 16, or were you aware of some kind of dynamic that was occurring before then?
I was aware that things were amiss before it actually happened, and then I remember when it actually happened, kind of feeling a sense of relief, and then sort of some of the details around how their marriage disintegrated kind of sort of solidified that I was just pure anger and bile at my dad for the foreseeable future. It's getting better now because I'm learning the other side of the story.
Right.
Way out that I was never told. So it's sort of changing.
Well, and what's interesting is there are parents, but they were not parents before they had us, right? So they were human beings, and to me, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, well, they don't owe me any explanation, or they have their own. If I am in a relationship with someone and it crumbles, it doesn't work out, I don't have to explain myself to anyone. And I know that there's this extra responsibility when you birth a child to now help create a healthy, well-balanced human.
Right.
But if you just think of them as two adults who maybe liked each other, loved each other, and then started hating each other or being mean to each other, I mean, they're just like you and I. I mean, not like I wouldn't be mean to you, but
I wouldn't be mean to you either.
Thanks, Will.
No problem, Sinead. No, yeah, because you probably, at least when I was younger, had no sense of empathy for them being other than, no, you are always supposed to be like this. But then when you start seeing them as people, and then you start seeing them as like with feelings and hopes and dreams of their own, then you start to feel going, oh, okay, I see how that could have happened.
All of that.
Right.
That's for me. Mammy told us on several occasions, 1, that she hated us. 2, that, she'd be like, I hate my children.
Right.
I'm like,
it's like, I love you, but I hate you.
Yeah.
It's like, I love you, but Fuck
right
you.
now I hate you forever. But I think for me, where my resentment comes in is, and not even resentment, just disappointment, is that it's harder for me to build romantic relationships because I didn't have a healthy model.
Yeah, I have that too.
And so I have to work harder now than someone who had a really positive, healthy, balanced relationship to look at as they, as they grew up.
I am so in sync with what you're putting out there, Sinead,
Is it?
because I had that same thing. Like I have this. I'm in a relationship with this amazing woman, and there was a time when I was just, no matter what I did, just fucking up left and right. And I was like, why am I doing this? And it's, a lot of it is, I started thinking, I remember definitely thinking, if I never want to be like my dad and what he did to destroy his marriage, so the way that I'm going to do that is I'm just never going to have I remember going, I'll never be married and I'll never have like a real relationship. And that's how I'll avoid it. And now that I'm in a relationship with this really awesome person, all I'm seeing is, oh, yeah, I could turn into my dad. And just the fear of that. Trying to soften that somewhat because of learning more of his side of the story of when they got divorced.
Well, and then you can also say to yourself, I didn't like how my dad did this, so I'm not going to do that. Or, I'm sure your dad has great qualities, and honoring those and bringing that to a relationship. But it's just, I think with your introspection and your self-awareness, that's going to allow you to be successful versus when people just, initially when you're like, ugh, never, I've had that thought, well, I'll just, I won't turn into my mom, A, if I don't have a baby at 19, and B, if I never have a baby. And that was it.
Yeah.
Don't
and
have a relationship.
And then eventually start to go, oh, well, that's kind of crazy to think.
Right. That's
in those
not
nevers.
a happy decision.
Right.
Then you're just miserable. And you blame, that's the thing, trying not to blame my parents for my own unhappiness. Which is tough because it's so much easier to blame someone else.
Yeah. Like actually sitting down and thinking, okay, what is my part in creating where I am? That's hard because a lot of people, I think, probably would rather not do that and blame something else that they can't control. Because if you can't control it, then it's not your fault. And then you don't have to do any work personally. This is good. I feel like I should need to write you a check after this. Okay, so that's really good. That's really good stuff. Okay, so you're growing up, huge Irish family. Is when you were growing up, is being Irish a big part of your identity and your family's identity? Did it play into your everyday life?
I know.
Outside of soccer?
Yeah, I would say because my mom was born and raised in the U.S. and my dad, born, raised in Ireland, there was this split identity in terms of, and split parenting, because my mom was always, you need to become independent and you need to get out of the house and you need to start paying for things and you have to do this, blah, blah, blah. And my dad was, no, my children will live under my roof. I will raise them. I will help. But my dad always, he ingrained in, just actually drilled into our brains, don't act American. He said that on several occasions. And
what is acting American, just out of curiosity?
Don't be loud, obnoxious, overly opinionated. You don't need to share your opinion with. Not everyone cares about your opinion.
Right.
And when on my first trip to Ireland, that was, my dad kept repeating, I don't want anyone at any airport to suspect that you're American. And it was just, don't be loud. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Wow. Where in Ireland did you go?
Kilkenny.
Kilkenny.
It's in the southeast.
I've heard of it. I've never been, but Ireland, I want to go so bad.
You've never been to Ireland ever?
Never been. Want to go
You're
really
wearing
bad.
a Shamrocks scarf. You got to get there.
I got to get there, and my last name is Carey.
Yeah, seriously.
I have a crest.
Oh, you should go.
Yeah.
Your next
It's
vacation.
definitely on my list. Like Dublin, or I hear Cork is nice.
My granny said to never trust anyone from Cork.
Oh,
But-
I see. Well, my girlfriend has been to Cork, and it apparently has the worst Chinese food in
Oh,
the,
really?
in the
I think
world.
all of Ireland is the worst Chinese
Right.
food.
It would make sense, with the exception of that Korean bagpipe player from the Starburst commercials 5 years ago. I don't know if
I've never seen that.
I never think of Asian culture and Irish culture intersecting
Yeah.
at any given moment. Okay, so man, I feel like by the end of this, I'm gonna have no more problems. You have this very calming demeanor about you. Granted,
thank
I'm
you.
seeing now that it's sort of like your parents drilling into you don't appear American, but that's probably good.
Yeah.
And what are your brothers like?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I lucked out. My parents may hate each other, but they did a really good job of fucking us up just enough to all rely and support on one another.
That's
Not maybe rely. I rely on my brothers, their opinion and their guidance, and we bonded over our childhood and the chaos of our childhood. And I mean, my oldest brother is a marketing executive at Verizon. My second oldest brother is a lawyer in Santa Monica. He's about to have a baby, which is exciting. My next brother is in the Coast Guard, and he's doing I'm so proud of all my brothers. He's doing extremely well. He's a warrant officer. He's going to retire at 38.
wow.
At a warrant officer. I don't think he can actually at this point promote any higher. Unfortunately. But
Wow. So positive contributions to the world.
yeah, left and right, and he has a child too, which she's the miracle baby. She's the legend in our family. And then my brother is right above me, is in Connecticut, and he's an athletics director and is rocking that job. And
Super.
my brother below me is a massage therapist, and he's incredible. I don't know if it's weird to get a massage from your brother, but I once had my hamstring torn. It gives me trouble. He rubbed it was done. There was no more pain in my leg. I don't know if people are weirded out by that.
No, I don't think so. It's
I mean, I
medical.
wore clothes. I wasn't like, all right, is
Right.
there a happy ending?
Exactly. It's not like when me and my girlfriend went to Thailand, and we were getting massages, and they have her like take her top off and are like massaging her boobs and
They
stuff.
did that?
And then one of the girls, like, I wasn't trying to make this happen, but she kind of like patted me on the dick.
They're there.
Yeah, and I was like, oh well, okay, then I could say that happened here in this country.
I wonder what she was expecting from that gesture. If she was maybe expecting you to respond in kind or by
Right.
becoming aroused.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was like trying to, like, she like tapped my leg to get me to turn over or something, and
She's like, oops, wrong leg.
Right, because I was just zoned out. I was just like, oh, this is great. And it
Yeah.
costs like $4 US.
Oh man, what a deal.
Yeah, no, Thailand is beautiful. Like Phuket, if you ever get the chance, it's really nice.
And you didn't come back with any fish up your dick?
No, that didn't happen.
Good. I've
I
heard
was
that hurts.
pretty excited. I was pretty excited about that, and I ate street food and didn't get sick,
Nice.
which was awesome. I also
Did you drink the water?
no bottled water, and another tip is to stay away from fresh vegetables, because that gets washed in the water,
Oh, that's good to know.
and that's how you can get sick.
Okay.
Travel tips because
Travel
I'm
tips
like an
from Will Carey.
I'm an international savvy world traveler
Ooh,
now.
You are. You have seriously. You've been
I've been to, like,
everywhere
I was
except
in 5
Ireland. Remember?
Except
Have
Ireland.
you heard of that country?
I have. It is on my list.
The Chinese food there is incredible.
I'll have to try it. All right, groovy. So.
Oh wait. Oh, can
yeah.
I say my last brother?
Oh yeah.
Which okay, he's the youngest. There's a big 5 minute. No, 5 minute. There's a gap. 5-year gap.
Mm-hmm.
He just graduated from Johns Hopkins and has a killer job that probably makes more than me and another brother combined, and just got engaged to his boyfriend.
Yay.
I know, I'm so happy for him, but I'm like,
Fantastic.
oh, now I'm almost the only sibling, the single sibling. It's tough.
Oh, this is where we start writing the screenplay of your life.
I know.
Yeah, and I can picture it now. Okay. Soccer romantic comedy. I really want to do like a soccer movie or a TV show or something.
Call it something like Bend It Like Schmeckum.
Yeah. Yeah, or I'm trying to, or make it like messy, because you can make it like a contemporary thing.
Ooh, that's nice. That's
Yeah?
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, because I was trying to think of something with Ronaldo, but then I couldn't think of anything that started with R.
Roll it with Ronaldo. Rock it with Ronaldo.
Well, rolling with Ronaldo, that would be that's like a rap song, I think.
Yeah, and then you'd just be rolling up a doobie,
Yeah,
if that's the term.
most assuredly.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't do weed.
Not so much anymore. I still will have a couple cocktails at dinner on occasion, but I don't need to.
Yeah, that's.
I don't really have that itch.
Yeah,
Which I'm lucky to
saves you money.
not have. It definitely does. Cool. So so you're growing up outside of Seattle. Got this big Irish family. So you were were you like a shy kid? Were you what would be called a jock? I mean, girls who are athletic are never. I've never encountered them to be as big a jerks as dudes that are athletic can be.
Oh, really?
For me at least.
Yeah.
I always thought like the field hockey players and the soccer players in my high school, they were cool. I didn't spend too much time with them, but in passing, because I was in the theater department.
Yeah.
But generally positive.
Yeah, I think soccer too specifically, you have fewer douchebags. I don't know, because
Yeah.
there's more teamwork, passing, building a play. Maybe I'm just generalizing, but I was outgoing. I didn't have a group. My friends and we didn't have a group. We didn't click with anyone. But the question was, what kind of child was I?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if because it sounds like your path was originally going to be into professional athletics. Was that the dream?
No. What was my dream? I think I had SNL as a dream, but then it was ugh, that's
this is
too
where
hard.
I want to get into, because I'm seeing sort of the seeds of why you do comedy, because
Yeah.
I'm shared with you ultimately some of the same seeds as well. I'm trying to see where comedy comes into it.
Well, when we were younger, SNL came on, and I thought it was so funny, and I was like, I could be as funny as them, but then it went away. Sherry O'Terry and.
So this is like mid '90s.
Yeah. And. Oh, but I'm so bad. I have a really poor memory of all facts, all pop culture. So Sherry O'Terry, I was like, wow, good job. I remembered that name. I don't really know anyone else's name except.
Okay. So I'm thinking maybe like if it's Sherry O'Terry, so
so Will.
there's probably Will Ferrell,
Will Ferrell,
Chris Kattan. I think
That's Who was the
Jimmy
one
Fallon.
who was the missing link? It was like.
Oh, that was Chris Kattan.
Is that Chris Kattan?
Yeah,
He was so funny. Yeah.
Yep,
So funny.
that was him.
Yeah.
That was him. So sort of. So sketch. So sketch comedy is what
Well, I think
first grabbed you?
I think that, but all of my brothers were so fun because there was so much anger and chaos in the house and just authoritarianism.
Mm-hmm.
We used humor to kind of make sense of what was happening to us. And so there were several occasions where my mom kicked a brother out of the house during dinner, and then my brother would come back, and we took care of adults with disabilities, and he'd come back in a disguise and with a walker and come in and be like, "No, I'm just Neil from next door. Get out of here." And then come back with the fire, what's that fire, puts out fire things. A fire hydrant?
Fire extinguisher?
That's it, an extinguisher. And he'd come back in and he'd say, "I heard there was a fire." And my mammy was just irate, but that was that kind of humor. Kind of just...
So diffusing potential catastrophic situations.
Oh, God, yeah. That's a great way to put it. I never
Yeah.
could have come up with those words.
No, yeah, because that's the ultimate. That is the first person who couldn't like physically beat someone else in a fight. They probably made them laugh.
Right?
That's what I'm thinking. That's like one of the early, maybe one of the early survival mechanisms.
Evolutionarily,
Yeah,
the monkeys who could...
definitely. Okay,
I can't end that sentence. I don't know where I was going with that.
it's all good. It's
Okay.
free. It's free form.
Perfect.
Yeah, because it's
Cut that out. Or
right.
make sure that anything that I didn't say that or said that wasn't funny, you just...
Gotcha. Cool.
You will cut out everything. It'll just be you asking questions to silence.
Doing the ether. Oh, that kind of reminds me of this. I went to this art museum in Austin, Texas a few years ago, and someone had taken like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons and edited out the coyote and the Roadrunner. So it's just these like desert landscape, like Chuck Jones style drawings. It would almost be like that, like I'm interviewing, or like I could just take a picture of like one of my
Just, yeah, put your Superman bear up
my
here.
Superman bear there.
Put a scarf around him.
Absolutely.
Put the headphones on so it looks real. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so sketches is the first thing and when did you think you were did you have any desire to study like theater or acting in school or anything like that?
No, I played Spot in I think our 4th grade play. That was the lead part.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I mean, I liked having the stage, but it never stuck with me. It was when I saw Sarah Silverman's Jesus is Magic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old I was then. I would have been in college? I don't know. That I memorized every single line, her delivery. I thought it was so brilliant. And then I went, oh yeah, no, because then I went to college and I took, when you learn and then you're like, I don't know if these jokes are, racist or, are they misogynistic? And then I got out of that phase and had a little more perspective and was like, oh, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
But her delivery, that's when she could create this almost character, yet make these poignant observations and get everyone to laugh. That's when I was like, holy shit, I want to do that. And then that idea went away too for a while.
Oh yeah. How old were you when you first had that idea?
When did that come out? It was right when it came out.
Jesus is Magic. I feel like, was it 2006 possibly? I might. That seems like it might be later because I remember.
It might have been maybe
Yeah, we'll
03 or 04. There's no way to find
pontificate
out.
on this for a second because.
Are you taking callers?
Yeah, let's
everyone
go to
call
the
in now
phone.
with the answer.
2005.
2005. Okay.
Is when that came out. I don't think I've ever seen Jesus and Magic in its entirety.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen like bits of it. Like The one joke I remember from that, and correct me if this is not from that, but she says, like, she said, I was raped by a doctor, which is so bittersweet for a Jewish girl.
Yeah, yeah.
That's from that. That's the one joke I remember. I was like, that's a well-structured joke.
Yeah. I didn't know what that meant at the time. I didn't know anything about anything Jewish related, or stereotypes, or
Right. Because if you don't mind me asking, Irish household, I would imagine Catholic.
Catholic, yeah, and Seattle too. There's we don't have a large Jewish population,
Right.
Not in Snohomish, and not in that area.
Okay.
So I had to come to the East Coast to learn all of the stereotypes. I
Right.
feel like I'm so out of it.
Where did you go to college?
The University of Washington.
Nice.
Go Dogs. Is anyone listening that went there? They can't respond. Okay.
Yeah. They might respond later. I'll just remind me to hashtag that when I post it on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, so University of Washington, and what did you go to study?
Psychology.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Because I want to be like my mom. Just kidding.
See,
Oh my God, I'm turning into her.
No.
I want to undo all the wrongs she did.
Yeah, and then ultimately, like you want to defeat her.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Exactly.
Like you're
With a
subconsciously
knife.
like, I will be better at you in everything that you do. Are you going to become a prison guard?
I'll think. I had that, and she's pushed me. Oh, it's a great job. It's great benefits, but
I imagine it would have to be. I would just be so afraid of being murdered every day because I'm the man.
yeah.
Like I'm the representative of what is
Yeah.
oppressing you in this environment.
Yeah. You're like, what power dynamic?
Right.
This one?
Exactly. You're a human, but you're not one while you're here.
Yeah. No, that I wouldn't want to do that ever.
Was there a particular field in psychology you were studying?
It's a general degree, but my favorite class of all time was the social psychology class I took. And so incredible. And that's what I want to study, social psychology. Get my degree, advanced degree in that.
Right, that's what you're saying. You wanted to study social psychology.
Yeah, and actually,
That's what you wanted to go back to school for, you said.
yeah, I want to go back to school and to study resiliency, and to focus on how, and humor ties well into it, is how do people overcome adversity? How do people deal with stress and conflict, and how can they use humor to buffer the negative effects of, to buffer the harmful effects that adversity can bring, so that you can grow and develop and strengthen your constitution.
Wow.
And not grow up hateful. People
Right.
are so hateful, and I hate that.
No, I agree. Like, and especially if you're on the internet and people don't have an immediately accept responsibility for the things they say or do.
Right.
Like once you remove that, because I imagine all those people that are like trolls on the internet, if you confronted them face to face, you could get them to shrivel.
Right. Or I'm like, why are you so, do you know that saying, don't blow out my candles so yours can glow brighter? Have you heard that?
I've never heard that, but I like it.
It's so true. Or don't take rocks from my bucket so that yours is heavier.
Right.
My friend's a kindergarten teacher. She teaches me all these things.
That's good. What do you have any theories on how people might use humor to buffer the gut punch that is living in the world today?
I don't know, not at this point, but I know in my initial research, the type of humor that people use will either make them feel better or worse. So when people use
Deprecation?
deprecation is that's all right. Self-denigration is far more negative, and it's bad for you. and aggressive humor is also not healthy. So when you have the comics are like, I'm gonna kill this person and blah 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 blah,
Right.
or like I'm the worst. That's because I'm a fucking unless, I mean, you can hear some of the seriousness in the joke. It doesn't help you process and not develop self-esteem, but just develop self-worth. Whereas self-deprecation and what is the other type of humor? Observational type humor without that. I mean, you know when you're... I don't like making fun of vulnerable people.
No, yeah.
That's, to me, I'm like, how easy. And also, what purpose does that serve?
No, yeah. I would rather take myself down a few pegs so that way no one else can do it.
Right. See, and I like that. I think that also shows confidence, too, to say that I'm going to make this joke because whether it's so easy or whether, I've thought about it and I'm going to laugh and it's going to make me feel better.
I think that, and I'll put this to you for when you're back in school. Maybe you get to a thesis or an essay. I think I could be a case study for that because I'm working on a one-man show that's a lot of these long-form stories that are about finding jokes in situations that at the time were kind of terrifying or painful.
Right.
And it's almost like when I'm doing the bits and I get laughs off of the jokes about that situation, it's taking away the power of that thing to hurt me. Mm-hmm. And in fact, because hearing the laugh I got makes me feel good, and it's almost like it's rewiring the memory of that moment in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's cognitive behavioral therapy where you're taking that negative memory and you can spin it and recreate it or view it from a different perspective. And that's really hard to do. And getting the what's it called when that, not affirmation, but that confirmation from the audience going, oh, that's really funny. And also it's a pat on the back going, you've done it. A lot of people can't find humor in their own pain.
So maybe it's possible that stand-up comedy in some forms is a bizarre, slightly self-obsessed form of cognitive behavioral therapy.
It could be. When you put it that, it could be.
My mind is just exploding right now.
Well, and there are, because I've always wanted to, if I become a therapist or if I study psychology and become a psychologist, it would be about teaching people how to, they don't have to be stand-up comics, but how to specifically use humor to address their emotional issues or address their whatever their problems are in their life. And also to help them develop coping mechanisms, because I think without those, you don't know how to process stress. If you don't know how to process stress, then the stress overburdens you, and then maybe you reach to drugs, or maybe you reach to sex, which is maybe not a bad thing.
Or you become the guy that if the Broncos don't win the Super Bowl, you're going to yell and scream and stomp around.
Like, what does that do? Does that serve anyone any good?
I don't think so.
No.
So, any of that play into you getting up on stage for the first time? What's the trigger that gets you on the stage for the first time?
I think it's my family and the experiences we had, and I want validation from that. I think I want validation about how messed up our childhood was, yet we have managed to all be successful in our own ways. And we had just not great things. And I'm not taken down by it. I find my own happiness. I mean, I won't talk to my mom, but that is the sacrifice that she must take on for creating a very resilient person. And not that I think, oh, well, people will learn from me, but I do like helping people and helping people feel better. And that's why I'll talk about my problems and the stuff that's happened in my life that's embarrassing or like gross or scary or whatever it is, because hopefully someone has experienced, not hopefully, maybe someone's experienced that, and what they hear can make them feel better. God, that sounds sappy.
No, I think it's great. It's a quality to
of a narcissist.
Well, it might be narcissistic, but it's a very open-hearted form of narcissism. It's like I'm servicing my needs, but it's helping other people, which then also services other needs I have. So it might be a form of narcissism, but it's a form of narcissism that's rooted in something good.
All right, I'll take that. That makes me feel better. Because there are times where I'm like, shut up, Sinead, stop talking.
And then you snap out of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, no, I have more things to say.
So when did you start stand-up?
I took a class, actually, at the Manhattan Comedy School.
Okay.
In October of when did Sandy hit?
Sandy was
2011? 2012. 2011?
2012, I think, because I was living here. I was living in this apartment I'm in now at the time.
Okay. So
when it hit. So, yeah, I think it was 2012.
Okay. So I took a class in October 2012, and then I didn't do open mics until January of 2013. And then I got, you just get wrapped up in the open mics. You can either hate them, but at that point I was like, oh, this is so much fun. You get to stay up late, drinking, go tell jokes, maybe get laughs. And I did that, I think, consistently for 5 months. And then I got a boyfriend and was like, wait, no, love. Love is my future. Then realized I didn't have feelings for him. And I was like, well, all right. Tried getting back into it. And so roughly for the past, 3 years, I would say maybe all of my comedy fits into 1 year. Maybe a year and a half.
Like of just condensed going out and really making a go of it. Yeah,
because I've been on a little hiatus now for the past 6 months. I had a show yesterday, and believe it or not, my diaper jokes didn't work. So annoying. What's the point in having to wear a diaper if you can't make fun of yourself?
Right. Yeah, because again, how do you process that?
Right. I was in a diaper for the first 2 weeks of turning 30. Oh, diaper. Adult.
I turned 30 in April. Is that what's gonna happen?
That's what happens. Nobody tells you. Nobody tells you.
Because I think I saw that picture, but I was like, that's probably a joke. No. Yeah. You don't have to talk about that if you don't want
Let's
to.
just say that I'm all healthy, I think, knock on wood.
Well, it gotta be if you're hitting scoring
I wasn't
records.
What's that word when you can't hold in your...
Incontinent?
I wasn't incontinent. That wasn't...
That's good. I'm...
Thank you. I don't mean to brag.
No.
But I use my diaper for other things.
Man, always a good day. Always.
Oh, so good. Every time I make that toilet.
Yeah, just wonderful.
Success.
Great feeling.
Once a day.
Yeah, because I know you. I hadn't seen you for a couple months, but I was like, I knew that you were like still around because I got that tweet from that soccer game.
Yeah, and that was, I host that. I don't consider that a because I didn't practice. I did some of my jokes, but I knew everyone, so it was more like I had family over and we were just talking, and I had a couple of, catcalling jokes and
Sure.
talking about my family. But no, yesterday was the first show in months and months. And it feels really good.
To be back.
Yeah, but I think I stopped because I had a joke that wasn't working out. That's why I really stopped.
Just one joke.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is hard. I give up. And I'm like, why did I do that?
It's like, you could just write another one.
I know, but I was so fixated on this joke. And now I am thankful for having this diaper experience, because now I have kind of a segue into my joke. Everyone needs to have diapers at some point in my life. But it was a cancer joke because my mom has cancer. And
I'm sorry.
You didn't have anything to do with it. And I had precancerous cells removed. So oh my God, I am turning into my mother. Oh, fuck.
Oh, I did.
Damn it.
I had no intention of that being the revelation here.
No.
That's
but
okay.
now
I'm turning into my dad too. So, but couldn't continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, life is like a bunch of diapers, and
Just a lot of shit, and then
a lot of shit, and you don't have someone else change it for you. Not when you're an adult.
Right. So you just kind of have to deal with it.
Yes, that's actually my friend. It's so great to have great friends. One group of friends actually got me silhouette diapers. Mm-hmm. So they were like sexy. And one of my friends, because I was like, the absorption, it's really hard to get the full absorption. I'm so sorry to give you all these details.
It's okay.
And my friend was like, oh, well, Sinead, you should get those diapers that change color when you wet them or when they turn wet. And I'm like, Christina, I'm the one wearing I'm the perpetrator of said wetness.
So you would know.
I know. I don't need to look down and go, am I wet? Let me check. Unless I'm having someone else change my diapers, which I didn't. Although I did have to change my diaper in a middle school bathroom, which felt very wrong.
Right.
But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
When you're wearing a diaper.
Yeah, because that's just a New York City thing. That's just Tuesday in New York.
I know. The guy in the stall next to me was changing his diaper, and we high-fived.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Yeah, through the chlorine hole. That I don't know why it's in a middle school bathroom, but
I don't know. I thought it was weird. It seemed out of place.
Yeah, the kids today are just out of control
with their glory holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm thankful. Now I'm like, yes. When you get that excitement where you're like, this could work. I'm there right now.
Fantastic.
Talk to me again in 2 months, and I'll be like, Will, what's the point in anything? Why do we do anything at all?
Oh,
I go through those phases.
We all go through phases like that, I think, because what I'm trying to remember is it's not about trying to avoid those phases. It's just getting through it. And the way I've been trying to get through it is to just continue to do things to beat away the ever-present feeling that I might just go back to like my first couple months in New York when no one was talking to me.
Oh no! Yeah.
And I would just leave Mike's after like an hour, and then, or like I would be out, I'd be going to Mike, and then I'd have like a panic attack, and then go home.
Oh no!
Like that kind of stuff.
That's huge progress.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, and then doing this, because granted, I'm still really new at it, but there's a certain level of excitement that comes from doing a project consistently, and it's all you. Because that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, with your one-man show. Or you're saying your stand-up in general?
This podcast and
the podcast.
and the one-man show. The one-man show I'm very excited about. I'm actually doing it this Friday. This Friday, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to do it a few more
At the
times
Creek?
too. I haven't booked it at the Creek yet, but I want to.
Well, today's Monday. No, it's not. It's not even Monday. It's Tuesday. And you want it this Friday?
Oh no, I've got it booked for Bunga's Den this Friday.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you had a. Okay, so you have a venue. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And then I'm going to do it at the. I'm not plugging. I'm just. I've got a few other times I'm doing it. So
you should
again,
plug. This is a good time to
your
plug.
theory of humor as a coping mechanism, my entire show is a giant coping mechanism. I think.
Wow. But that's the thing. People are going to hear that and hopefully take something away, and that will help them cope with all of their issues.
I hope so. That's what we do.
And
That's
the
right.
rainbow shines across the sky, and we all end up loving one another.
That's beautiful, and I think that's a great way to close. Thank you for talking to me, Sinead.
Thank you, Will. I appreciate it.
This is great. And if I ever do get back, if I ever decide I'm going to put my keeper gloves back on, penalty kicks. Because look, you got to keep that. You got to keep that top league scoring trophy, and I need to get out of the house and move around on occasion.
Do you want to do a comic soccer
If I just
game tournament thing, or
I kind of would like to do that.
because there are a bunch of Alex Carbagno play. You know Alex Carbagno?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he played. I actually met him through soccer before I met him through comedy, because I played with him on Saturdays, and there are a bunch of other comics that play. I think it would be really fun to put together a team.
I actually was like, I really would love to, had the thought of, I'd love to do that. So we should try to get that happening.
Yeah. We'll keep your listeners posted.
Excellent. And if you want, I'm going to get a brightly colored, long sleeve keeper jersey. I'm going to get the gloves, and I'm going to start trying to get the wall back that is my goalkeeping style.
Do it.
Yeah.
You should just do a onesie, like a full keeper onesie.
That
would show that you're really intense.
Yeah.
And serious.
Yes, and I'll start practicing my scorpion kick.
Yes.
Thank you for talking to me, Sinead.
Thank you, Will, for talking to me and listening to me.
You're the best. Thank you, Sinead. What a great lady. What a great person that Sinead Hennessy is. I enjoyed the hell out of that conversation. That was some really honest, human, real life, emotional stuff. And it was great to talk to her. And I want to thank you guys for listening. Please, if you want to check out my website, willcareyisfunny.com. That is WILLCAREY isfunny.com. I will have links to all of my upcoming shows. And if you want to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, rate, comment, I would appreciate it. And please support the New York Shamrocks in their upcoming season in March. And I will have links to the team, and I'll have links for Sinead's stuff in the description. So that's the show for today. And thank you for listening. It's not always easy, but you can get past the past in a weird way. I know that sounds oddly flippant, but I got a lot out of talking to Sinead, and I hope that we get that comedian soccer team together, because that would be really fun. And so thank you very much, everyone, and I will see you next week between Awesome and Disaster. Take care.